Hello everyone, welcome to Event Digital class. In the today class of computer organization, I will discuss some other concept like cache memory. So before going to the cache memory concept, let's first discuss about the memory hierarchy. In this diagram, we are having multiple levels of memory. Here you can see the registers. Here is level 1 cache, level 2 cache, main memory. Then here is our disk, then optical disk, then magnetic tape, as you can see here. So the memory hierarchy actually it is represented by using a pyramidal structure, and in that pyramidal structure we organized the different memory devices, okay? Or you can say the memory devices which are basically used in a computer system that are organized in a pyramidal structure, okay? So here are some characteristics by using which we design this. So when it will go from the top to bottom, then if we consider the cost part, that is our let cost per bit, okay, then the register cost is maximum between all these, or you can say the cost per bit decreases from top to bottom, or you can say it increases from the bottom to top, okay. And then next one is our accessing time. So when the characteristics is our accessing time, or we measure the memory devices according to their accessing time, that means the accessing time is increases from the top to bottom. That means when we access a word from the registers, the time required to do that is more than magnetic tape, okay, and the size is also increases from top to bottom, because the size of register is less as compared to magnetic tape, okay. Then next one is our the concept. Here these registers, cache memory and main memory, these three are included in the system, and this disk, it is our fixed digit disk, it is in our online storage, and then optical disk is our nearline, and this magnetic tape is our offline, or you can say here is our secondary storage devices, okay. So let's go to the details of this. So this is the hierarchy list. First, or in the topmost part, it contains the registers, then L1 cache and L2 cache. Because the cache memory here is divided into two levels, we are also having 3 level cache organization, which I will discuss in our later slides, okay. So here L1 cache, or level 1 cache, then level 2 cache, then third one is our main memory, okay. Then disk cache another one is, and then disk, optical disk and magnetic tape here. So if we goes from the top to bottom, then the decreasing cost per bit. Actually cost per bit means it is not the cost of this memory device, it is the cost of the bits which is stored in this register. If we want to buy a computer which is of RAM size, let 64 GB, because nowadays the computers having 4 GB RAM or 8 GB like this. But if we want to buy or want to purchase a computer system which is having RAM size of 64 GB, then approximately the price of that system will be nearby, it may be above the 1 lakh. But the secondary storage in today's system is approximately 500 GB or 1 TB. So in that way you can compare the cost per bit. So RAM size is 4 GB and secondary memory is a 500 GB. So what is the cost per bit in the RAM is more than the cost per bit in the secondary storage. Then increasing the capacity. The register size which I have discussed in our previous lectures, the register size is equals to the size of word. It may be of 16 bit, may be of 32 bit or may be of 64 bit. So, but this main memory size is somehow 4 GB like our RAM. Then this optical disc or tape, it is coming in the capacity of 1 TB, 2 TB like this. So, when we goes down in the hierarchy, it will increase the capacity, then increasing the accessing time which I have discussed before, then decreasing the frequency of access of the memory by the processor. That is our locality of reference. So, next point is our decreasing frequency of access of the memory by the processor, that is our the concept of locality of reference, which I will discuss in the coming slides. So, actually what the cache memory defines? It is the memory which is a small amount of fast memory, or you can say the small amount of the main memory is considered as a cache memory, and this cache memory is established or it is placed between the CPU and the main memory. Then it is located on the CPU chip or the module. As I have discussed that cache is divided into some levels. So, some cache is located on the CPU chip and some other in the outside of the chip. So, what is the operations? First, the entire block of data is copied from the memory to the cache, because the principle of locality which I have discussed, that locality of reference, that tells that once a byte is accessed, it is likely to be accessed in the nearby. Okay. I will discuss it in a detailed manner later. So, basically what is the use of cache memory? It is small in size as compared to main memory, and as it is smaller than the main memory, and it is in the above of the main memory in the memory hierarchy. So, the accessing time of cache is larger than the main memory. Okay. You can imagine that the cache memory accessing time is measured approximately in the nanosecond, and the main memory, or you can say the other memory concept like your secondary memory, the accessing time is measured in the unit of millisecond. Okay. So, if we need to access a word or an information from cache, if it will take 1 second, then if we access the same information from the other memory, then we need approximately 1 lakh seconds. So, you can imagine the accessing time of cache is how fast. Okay. So, then to access speed, or you can say to achieve the speed access, we use the concept of cache. Okay. And then from the cache you transfer to the CPU, or you can say when you want to transfer some data from the main memory to CPU, in between these two there is cache memory. So, first we have to transfer the data from main memory to cache, which is in the block way. That means a block of instruction or block of data is transferred from main memory to cache, but when cache transfers that to the CPU, it transfer by word manner, one word at a time, but it will transfer a block of instruction or data. Okay. So, the next, this is the concept of single cache. If we will use a single cache in the computer system, then the organizational structure is like this, but here we are having 3-level cache organization. So, let us discuss first about the single cache organization. So, here is the cache in between the CPU and main memory, and main memory transfers the cache and cache transfers that to the CPU. So the transformation between main memory to cache is approximately slow as compared to the transformation between cache and the CPU. In between the 3 level cache and main memory and the CPU. So when the data is transferred from the main memory to level 3 cache, it is slower than this transmission, that means within the level 3 and level 2, and then the most fastest transmission is the level 1 and CPU transmission. Here you can see it is the fastest and it is the fast, it is the less fast than this, and this is the slowest as compared to these 3 transfer. To increase the transmission speed or to decrease the accessing time, by which we can easily enhance the performance of the system. That is why we use the concept of cache memory, and the cache memory is placed in between the CPU and the main memory. And here is the level 1 cache. The level 1 cache actually it is built inside the CPU chip. It is not outside the CPU chip, but other two at the outside of the CPU chip. Okay. So next concept is our cache operations. Actually, how the cache memory operates, or why we use the cache memory in a system. So first, CPU requests the contents of memory location. As I have discussed in our previous lectures, that every time processor requests some data or information from the memory. Okay. So first it will go to the cache. Here you can see cache memory is in between the CPU and main memory. So when the processor wants to read or write something into the main memory, then it will first communicate with this cache. So first it will request the content, then after requesting it will check the cache memory first, then it will go to the main memory. If the request contents is present in the cache, then it will be fetched from the cache. If it is not present, then that block or that request content, that will be loaded from the main memory to the cache first. Okay. Then it will deliver from cache to CPU. Then last one is our cache includes the tags concept. When I will discuss about the mapping functions, at that point of time I will tell you about the tag concept. Okay. So first go to the read operation, because every memory concept it operates in the two way. One is our read operation, another one is our write operation. So cache memory also performs these two operations, one is read and another one is our write operation. So first one is our cache read operation. Okay, here. So first it will perform the start operation, then after this it will receive address, that is our array, from CPU. That means whatever the address or whatever the memory location from where the CPU wants to read some data, that address will be released from the CPU. Then after releasing that, it will be checked in the cache first. If it is present, then that content or the word which is contained in that address will be fetched and then delivered to the CPU. If it is not present in the cache, then first it will access that content or the content of that address from the main memory, and from the main memory the block of information will be transferred to the cache memory here. So after this it will allocate cache line for main memory block. Basically when we discuss about the main memory, the concept is our block, and when it comes to the cache memory, it is the concept of line. That means we transfer the main memory content or whatever the data is placed in the main memory in a block format, but in cache we stored that block of information in a line, a small part of main memory as block, but in the cache it is called as cache line. Okay. So, after fetching the block of data which is attached with this address, here you can see if it is not present, then that will allocate to a cache line. By using this, that mapping function is to allocate the cache line for main memory block which is fetched from this, and then from that it will load either into the cache line or it will directly deliver that to the CPU. Then the job is done. That means the read operation is completed. Okay. So, actually there are two terms is attached with this. First one is our read hit, another one is our read miss. Okay. So, read hit means if we get the requested address in the cache or requested data in the cache, that is called as read hit. That means we got our data what that CPU want. So, that is our read hit. If it is not present in the cache, that means it is read miss, because during the read operation the data or information which the CPU wants to read, if it is present, then that is hit operation, and if it is not present in the cache, then that is our miss operation. Okay. So, next one is our write operation. So, for doing the write operation, the CPU uses two techniques. One is our write through protocol, another one is write back protocol. Protocols means there are set of rules by using which the cache memory performs the write operation. So, first one is our write through protocol. So, by using that is the simplest technique between these two, and in the write through protocol all the write operations are basically made to the main memory as well as to the cache. That means when the cache memory performs the write operation or the CPU wants to write something in the cache memory, it also performs the write operation in the main memory. Okay. Or you can say when the CPU wants to write something by using the write through protocol, then it has to perform both the write operation in the main memory as well as in the cache memory. Okay. That means two memories, that is our cache and main memory, has to be updated by using the write through protocol, or when CPU uses the write through protocol. Okay. Then the main disadvantages is that by using this technique it generates substantial memory traffic, or you can say that by using this write through protocol, processor has to generate another write signal to do the write operation for the main memory. So, that is the main disadvantages of write through protocol. But in the case of write back protocol, it overcomes that disadvantages of write through. That means in this protocol the updates are made only in the cache, but here the updates are made in both the memories, that is our in the main memory as well as in the cache memory. So, in the write back protocol only the cache memory content is updated. The last one is our portion of main memory is invalid, and hence accesses by IO modules can be allowed only through the cache. As we are not updating the content of main memory, so when the processor accesses the IO modules, it can be allowed only through the cache. So, these write back protocol are basically used for complex circuitry concept. Okay. So, this is the concept of cache write operation and the cache read operation. This is all about the today class. In the next class, we will discuss about some other concept of cache memory. Till then, thank you.